Stern has become such a wussified sycophant, he doesn't realize that telling Kamala that he'd vote for a wall is telling her that he knows she's as dumb as one. I mean, not to mention Trump is the wall candidate, not Cackle's McKnee pads. Stern got even more pathetic, wondering how she doesn't nap.
That brings me to Howard Stern and his interview of Kamala Harris, where he put the cards on the table about how he was feeling, in particular about her latest media tour, which did not include Saturday Night Live, but she was lampooned on it a little. A lampoon may be too strong, but she was mocked, as they usually do, just to Republicans. Take a listen.
Greg Gutfeld didn't just question Howard Stern's transformation. He turned it into a full-blown debate about authenticity. And Stern's silence only made the moment louder. For decades, Howard Stern built his brand on rebellion, controversy, and challenging the establishment. But when Gutfeld took aim at him, the reaction that never came became the story itself. No explosive response. No fiery comeback. Just silence. And for many viewers, that silence spoke volumes. So hit that subscribe button, because this clash sparked a conversation nobody saw coming.
This is what keeps me up at night. I don't understand how my fellow Americans, I don't even understand how this election is close. And yes, I'm voting for you, but I would also vote for that wall over there. When you said you don't nap, I get it, because like what you've taken on is extraordinarily difficult. And I mean, do you feel the pressure of the moment in the sense that, like when I met you out in the hall, I said, I'm really nervous because I want this to go well for you. I want it to go well for the country. Even when I watch them on Saturday Night Live with the, where they have Maya Rudolph playing you, I hate it. I don't want you being made fun of.
Most television moments disappear as quickly as they happen. They're forgotten before the next segment even begins. But every so often, a moment breaks through and captures everyone's attention. That's exactly what happened when Greg Gutfeld and Howard Stern became part of the same cultural conversation. This wasn't just another media disagreement. It felt bigger than that. Two major personalities from very different corners of the media world suddenly found themselves on opposite sides of a debate about authenticity, change, and legacy. For decades, Howard Stern dominated headlines as the self-proclaimed king of media, building one of the most influential careers in broadcasting history.
Period, while listening to it. You should hear what keeps him up at night.
If you're enjoying this breakdown, make sure to subscribe. Howard Stern built his reputation by doing what almost nobody else was willing to do. He was loud, fearless, controversial, and completely unpredictable. To many fans, he represented a generation tired of being told what to think and how to behave. His name became synonymous with disruption and rebellion. Whether people loved him or hated him, ignoring him was never an option. But there's a challenge that comes with staying at the top for decades. Over time, even the sharpest edge can begin to soften. Many longtime viewers believe that's exactly what happened with Stern, whose public image gradually started to change.
She also appeared on Howard Stern, where he said he'd even vote for a wall over Trump. Harris replied, "I'm not a wall, but I am plastered."
The transformation has been impossible for many fans to miss. The version of Howard Stern, who once attacked the establishment, now spends much of his time conducting polished celebrity interviews. The wild outsider gradually became a respected insider, and Greg Gutfeld noticed it. Known for mixing humor, satire, and sharp criticism, Gutfeld has built a career around challenging public figures and exposing what he sees as contradictions. When he started talking about Stern, it quickly became more than a passing joke. Gutfeld argued that the former king of chaos had become something entirely different. Instead of challenging the system, he now appeared comfortable inside it. That observation became the foundation for one of Gutfeld's most talked-about critiques.
But it is incredibly brave to take this stance after you've made $300, $400 million not being woke. right? Loving Donald Trump, exploiting the mentally ill, wearing blackface. Look at the crop of woke comics, whether it's Stern or Jimmy Kimmel, his BFF, Sarah Silverman, Joy Behar, Michael Ian Black. What do they all have in common? They wore blackface. And then they went woke. It's not a chicken or egg thing there. You know what order it came.
What made the criticism stand out was how calm and deliberate it felt. Gutfeld didn't attack Stern as a failure. Instead, he presented him as an example of what can happen when a rebel becomes part of the establishment. According to Gutfeld, the fearless broadcaster who once challenged celebrities, politicians, and powerful institutions had evolved into someone seeking acceptance from the very world he used to criticize. The contrast was difficult to ignore. On one side was the younger Stern, unpredictable and confrontational. On the other was today's version, hosting friendly conversations with celebrities he once might have targeted. Rather than exaggerating the point, Gutfeld simply highlighted the difference. For many viewers, that comparison landed harder than any direct attack could have.
Bologna slices at strippers' butts. With accuracy, I might add. Now he's worried the possible leader of the free world can't handle his verbal foot rub. I wonder if he used to get this nervous for the strippers before he'd spank them on their bare asses with a dead fish.
The debate quickly became about something larger than either man. Critics of Stern argued that he seemed increasingly focused on approval from Hollywood, corporations, and mainstream media circles. Supporters, meanwhile, viewed his evolution as personal growth rather than surrender. But Gutfeld wasn't interested in that distinction. To him, the issue was authenticity. His argument wasn't just that Stern had changed. It was that he had abandoned the rebellious identity that made him famous in the first place. What made the moment especially powerful was the lack of response. There was no public battle, no extended back and forth, and no dramatic confrontation. Instead, the silence became part of the story. Viewers were left to interpret it however they wanted, and many felt the absence of a response only intensified the conversation.
Okay, I hope you had a good week. I did, and no thanks to Howard Stern. True, the New York Post reported that Stern hit a chic restaurant in NYC with a crew of A-listers, including Jimmy Kimmel, Jennifer Aniston, Jon Hamm, Justin Theroux, Jason Bateman. I was not invited. I guess because my first name doesn't begin with the letter J.
Part of what made the clash so fascinating was how different their careers have been. Howard Stern rose during an era when challenging authority often came with major consequences, including fines, censorship battles, and pressure from sponsors. Those fights became part of his legend. Greg Gutfeld, however, emerged in a completely different media environment. His style relies less on shock and more on humor, sarcasm, and exposing contradictions. This wasn't simply a disagreement between two media personalities. It felt like a collision between two generations of rebellion, one built on confrontation, the other built on commentary. What made Gutfeld's critique particularly effective was that he never dismissed Stern's accomplishments. In many ways, he praised them. The criticism came from comparing who Stern was with who he appears to be today.
There's too much at stake. I believe the entire future of this country right now, I mean, as America, land of the free, home of the brave, I think it's literally on the line.
I agree with you.
And when I see them, how did you react to the Saturday Night Live bit?
Here's Stern on anyone daring to poke a little fun at Kamala.
Even when I watch them on Saturday Night Live with the where they have Maya Rudolph playing you, I hate it. I don't want you being made fun of.
Oh my God.
There's too much at stake. I believe the entire future of this country right now, I mean, as America, land of the free, home of the brave, I think it's literally on the line.
So a guy who's supposed to be funny for a living now claims her candidacy is too important to joke about.
According to Gutfeld, the younger Howard Stern would have had little patience for the current version of himself. The broadcaster, who once thrived on controversy, now appears far more comfortable within mainstream culture. Instead of tearing apart celebrity culture, he often participates in it. To critics, that's a dramatic shift. And once that image was introduced, it spread quickly. Social media exploded with reactions, clips, and debates. The discussion gained momentum because it touched on a question many longtime fans had already been asking. Has Stern changed too much? The conversation wasn't really about politics. It was about whether anyone can remain an outsider forever once success arrives.
Well, I just saw it, actually, and it was funny. I am a huge fan of Maya Rudolph's. I think she put a lot of time into doing the piece and the character.
Okay, so I do think it's interesting. He's very scared. A lot of I hear this from a lot of my Democrat friends. They're scared of Trump winning again. They're scared of Trump.
Nothing in Stern's previous career that could withstand this modern witch hunt that he now embraces. So this is a form of restitution. Maybe he says, if I'm woke too, the crocodile will eat me last, but they always do eat. But I get it. He flipped from populist to elitist because now he's with elitists. He's living in the Hamptons. What would the Stern of now think of the Stern of before?
In media, perception often matters as much as reality. And that's why this debate continues. Will Howard Stern rediscover the rebellious energy that made him famous? Or will he continue down a more polished and mainstream path? And what about Greg Gutfeld? Has he become the new voice of media rebellion, willing to challenge anyone regardless of status or influence? Those questions remain unanswered. What is clear is that this wasn't just another media feud. It became a larger conversation about legacy, authenticity, and change. Whether you sided with Stern or Gutfeld, the moment sparked a reaction because it touched on something bigger than either man. It asked whether a rebel can stay a rebel forever. And for many viewers, that's the question that still lingers long after the conversation ended.